My parents didn't come to my wedding, not because someone died, not because of an accident or emergency. They skipped it to take my 25-year-old brother swimming. Swimming on my wedding day. When I walked down the aisle, their chairs were empty. When I said my vows, they were at a pool with him. When I called them afterward, my mom said, "Ryan really needed this, Natalie. You understand, right?" And that sentence, that one sentence I'd heard my entire life, finally broke something inside me. 3 weeks later, at a family dinner I should never have attended, I brought printed receipts of every wedding invite they'd signed for. And I asked the question that made my father's face turn red. Why wasn't I ever worth showing up for? Before I tell you what he said next, drop a comment with where you are watching from. And hit subscribe if you've ever been the child your parents forgot about. Because what happened at that dinner table didn't just expose my parents. It exposed 29 years of a pattern I'd been too afraid to name. My name is Natalie. I'm 29 years old, and I've spent most of my life being the responsible one. The forgotten one, the one whose achievements were expected, not celebrated. Growing up in Colorado Springs, I learned early that my needs would always come second. My parents, Linda and Greg, had 2 children, me and my younger brother, Ryan. But if you ask them, they really only had one child that mattered. Ryan, 4 years younger than me, the baby, the boy, the one who could do no wrong even when he did everything wrong. I got straight A's. Ryan barely passed. I got, "Good job. That's what we expect from you." Ryan got a celebration dinner and a new gaming console for bringing home a C+ in algebra. I worked 2 jobs to pay for college. Ryan dropped out. Twice. Both times my parents paid the tuition. Both times they said he just needed time to find himself. I graduated with honors and landed a job at a tech startup in Denver. My parents came to graduation but left early because Ryan had a hangover and needed them to bring him soup. I'm not exaggerating. That actually happened. The pattern was clear. Ryan's smallest inconveniences were treated like catastrophes. My biggest achievements were treated like obligations. I was supposed to succeed. He was supposed to be protected. By the time I was 25, I'd stopped expecting them to show up for me. Stopped expecting equal treatment. Stopped expecting them to see me at all. I accepted it. That's just how it was in our family. And then I met Eric at a charity 5K where he was volunteering at the medical tent. I'd twisted my ankle near mile 2. Not badly, just enough to make me limp to the finish. He wrapped it, made me laugh through the pain, and asked if he could take me to coffee when I could walk properly again. 3 years later, I couldn't imagine my life without him. Eric came from the kind of family I'd only seen in movies. 3 siblings who actually liked each other. Parents who showed up to everything. Unconditional support without keeping score. He saw how my family treated me, and he hated it. "They don't deserve you," he'd say after another disappointing phone call where my mother forgot my promotion or my father cut our conversation short because Ryan needed help moving his couch. When Eric proposed on a hiking trail overlooking Denver, I said yes before he finished asking. Not just because I loved him, but because he saw me, really saw me, in a way my own family never had. Planning the wedding was everything I dreamed of. We chose a boutique lodge in the mountains. 70 guests, intimate and meaningful, sunset ceremony with the Rockies as our backdrop. I spent weeks designing invitations. Beautiful cream cardstock with pressed wildflowers. Hand-addressed envelopes. Save the dates sent 6 months in advance. Formal invitations sent 3 months before the wedding. I called my parents after they received the save the date. "September 23rd, I said. "Mark your calendars. It's going to be beautiful." "That sounds nice, honey," my mother said absently. In the background, I could hear Ryan asking her something about his laundry. The formal invitation went out in June. I followed up with a text to my parents. "Did you get the invitation?" "Yes, it's lovely," my mother replied. "Can you confirm you're coming?" "I need final head count for catering." "Of course we're coming. It's your wedding." I should have known better than to trust that, but I wanted to believe. I wanted to believe that my wedding would be the one thing they wouldn't miss. August came. I texted again. "Mom, what are you wearing? I sent you the color palette so we can coordinate for photos." "I'll figure something out," she replied. No photo, no follow-up, just vague reassurance. 2 weeks before the wedding, I called. Have you booked your hotel? Not yet. We'll do it soon. Mom, the room block expires in 3 days. Okay, honey. Your father and I will take care of it. 1 week before. Did you book the hotel? We're working on it. Red flags were everywhere, but I didn't want to see them. 3 days before, I called again. Mom, I need to know. Are you coming? Of course we're coming. Stop worrying so much. Then why haven't you booked a room? We'll stay somewhere. Don't stress about details. The morning of September 23rd arrived, my wedding day. I woke up in the bridal suite at the lodge, surrounded by my bridesmaids. My best friend Maya was doing my makeup. Eric's sister Sophie was steaming my dress. Everything was perfect. Except for the knot in my stomach, the one that had been there since my mother's last vague text. See you there. No time, no confirmation that they'd actually left Colorado Springs. Nothing. I texted, "What time are you arriving? Ceremony starts at 5:00. No response. I called, straight to voicemail. Nat, they're probably driving, Maya said gently. Cell service is bad in the mountains. I nodded, but I knew. Deep down, I knew. By 3:00 p.m., I was in my dress, hair done, makeup perfect, bouquet in hand. Still no word from my parents. I called Ryan. Maybe he'd heard from them. Hey, sis, he answered, sounding relaxed. Too relaxed for someone whose parents were supposed to be at a wedding in 2 hours. Have you heard from Mom and Dad? Yeah, they're with me. My heart stopped. What do you mean they're with you? We're at the pool. They came over to help me celebrate getting my new apartment. I couldn't breathe. Ryan, my wedding is in 2 hours. Silence, then, oh shit, is that today? The casual tone, like my wedding was a dentist appointment he'd forgotten about. Yes, it's today. Why are Mom and Dad with you? I mean, I just signed the lease yesterday. It's a big deal. Mom wanted to celebrate. By going swimming? Yeah, we're at the complex pool. It's actually really nice here. I heard splashing in the background. Laughter. My mother's voice calling out something I couldn't make out. Ryan, tell them to leave now. They can still make it if they leave right now. I don't know, Nat. We just ordered food, and Mom's having such a good time. This is my wedding. I know, but you're getting married anyway, right? They can see you after. The dismissiveness, the absolute lack of awareness. Put Mom on the phone. She's in the pool. Get her out of the pool and put her on the phone. He sighed like I was being difficult. I heard muffled sounds. Then my mother's voice, slightly breathless. Natalie. Mom, what are you doing? We're just having a little celebration for Ryan. He got that apartment, you know. Mom, my wedding is in 2 hours. I know, sweetie. We'll see you soon. You're 3 hours away. You can't make it. Silence. A long, damning silence. Well, Ryan really needed us today. You understand, don't you? I didn't trust myself to speak. Natalie. No, Mom, I don't understand. Don't be dramatic. You have Eric's family there. You'll be fine. You're my parents. And we'll celebrate with you another time. Ryan needed this today. The line went dead. She'd hung up on me. On my wedding day, I stood there in my wedding dress, phone in my shaking hand, staring at my reflection in the mirror. And I felt something break inside me. Not my heart. That had been broken by them too many times before. This was different. This was the moment I stopped hoping, stopped expecting, stopped believing they would ever choose me. Maya found me frozen in place. Nat, you okay? I turned to her. They're not coming. What? They're at a pool in Colorado Springs, with Ryan, celebrating his new apartment. The words sounded insane even as I said them. Maya's face went through several emotions. Shock, anger, devastation on my behalf. I'm going to kill them, she finally said. I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. Get in line. Sophie appeared in the doorway. Eric's asking if you're ready. It's almost time. I looked at myself in the mirror one more time. At the dress I'd spent months choosing. At the makeup that had taken an hour to perfect. At the bride whose parents chose a swimming pool over her wedding. Yeah, I said, straightening my shoulders. I'm ready. I walked down that aisle without my father. Eric's dad offered to walk me, but I declined. I wanted to walk alone, to walk into my new life on my own terms. When I reached Eric, his eyes were wet. He'd heard. Sophie had told him. He squeezed my hands so tightly. "I'm so sorry," he whispered. "Don't be sorry," I whispered back. "Let's just get married." And we did. The ceremony was beautiful. The mountains glowed. The sunset painted everything gold and pink. Our vows made people cry. When Eric kissed me, everyone cheered. It should have been perfect. It was perfect, except for those two empty chairs in the front row. The two people who were supposed to be there. The two people who chose a pool day with my brother instead. During the reception, Eric's mom pulled me aside. "Sweetheart, I'm so sorry they didn't come." "It's okay. It's not okay. So I did this. It's unforgivable." I nodded because she was right. This wasn't something I could brush off. This wasn't something I could forgive easily. This was a line crossed that couldn't be uncrossed. At 7 p.m. during dinner, my phone buzzed. A text from my mother. "Hope everything went well. Send pictures." Like she'd missed a recital, not my wedding, like this was a minor scheduling conflict. Not the most important day of my life. I showed Eric, his jaw clenched. "Don't respond," he said. "Not today. Today is ours." He was right, so I put my phone away. And I danced with my husband, and I celebrated with the people who actually showed up for me. But in the back of my mind, I was already planning what I would say when I finally confronted them. Planning how I would make them understand what they'd done. Planning how I would make them look at those empty chairs and see their choice. Because this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. The morning after our wedding, Eric and I left for our honeymoon in Maui. 7 days of beaches and Mai Tais and pretending my parents hadn't shattered my heart. I turned off my phone for most of it. Every time I looked at social media, I saw their posts from that day. My mother, smiling in the pool. My father grilling burgers by Ryan's new apartment. Ryan giving a thumbs up with a beer in hand. "First day in the new place," the caption read. "So proud of our boy." Posted at 5:47 p.m., 17 minutes before I walked down the aisle. Eric caught me looking at it on day 3. "Stop torturing yourself," he said gently, taking my phone. "I can't help it. They're not worth ruining our honeymoon." He was right, but the anger was building, fermenting, growing stronger with every passing day. We came home to 47 missed calls, most from my mother, a few from my father, even 2 from Ryan. There were voicemails. "Honey, call me back when you can." "Natalie, we need to talk." "Why aren't you answering your phone?" Like I was the one being unreasonable, I didn't call back. Not that day, not that week. I needed time to figure out what to say, how to say it, whether to say anything at all. Eric's family had sent us home with leftover wedding cake and cards from guests. His mother had framed a photo of us from the ceremony. In it, you could see the empty chairs behind us if you look closely. "We can crop that out," Eric offered. "No," I said, "leave it." I wanted to remember. 2 weeks after the wedding, my mother showed up at our apartment. Unannounced, just rang the doorbell at 10:04 a.m. on a Saturday. Eric answered. I heard him say, "Linda, I don't think this is a good time." Then my mother's voice. "I need to see my daughter." I came to the door in my pajamas. "What are you doing here?" "You won't answer my calls." "There's a reason for that." She looked hurt, genuinely hurt, like she couldn't understand why I was upset. "Can I come in?" "No, down." "Natalie, don't be childish." "Childish? Are you serious right now?" Eric put his hand on my shoulder, a gentle reminder to stay calm. "You skipped my wedding, Mom." "We didn't skip it. Something came up." Swimming. Swimming came up." She flinched. "Ryan needed us." "I needed you." "You had Eric's family." "You're my family." Tears formed in her eyes, the waterworks she always used when confronted. "We wanted to be there." "You were 3 hours away at a pool." Ryan was really stressed about the move. "It was a pool day, Mom, not emergency surgery, not a crisis. A pool day." "Why are you being so selfish about this?" The word hit me like a slap. Selfish. "Get out." "What?" "Get out of my building, right now." "Natalie, You missed my wedding for a pool party, and now you're calling me selfish? Get out. Eric stepped forward. Linda, you should go. She looked between us, then turned and left. I slammed the door so hard the frame shook, and then I cried, angry, frustrated tears. Eric held me while I sobbed into his shirt. She called me selfish, I choked out. I know, baby, I know. I'm not selfish. You're not even a little bit. That afternoon, the text started, from my father this time. Your mother is very upset. Good. You need to apologize. For what? For the way you spoke to her. I stared at the message. Apologize. I was supposed to apologize. For being hurt that they missed my wedding. This is insane, I said to Eric. Don't respond, he advised. They're trying to make you the villain. But I did respond. I will not apologize for being hurt that you chose swimming with Ryan over my wedding. We didn't choose anything. We were supporting your brother. On my wedding day. The world doesn't revolve around you, Natalie. There it was. The truth they'd always believed. My needs didn't matter. Only Ryan's did. I blocked my father's number, then my mother's, then Ryan's for good measure. I'm done, I told Eric. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. For 3 weeks, I had peace. No calls, no texts, no guilt trips, just me and Eric, building our life together. And then came the email from my mother. Subject line, family dinner, Saturday, November 18th. We're having a family dinner at the house, it read. Your brother has some exciting news to share. Please come, it's important we all be together. No mention of the wedding, no apology, just an expectation that I'd show up like nothing had happened. I showed Eric. Are you going? I thought about it, really thought about it. Part of me wanted to ignore it, to continue the silence, to let them wonder. But another part of me needed closure, needed to say everything I'd been holding in, needed them to hear exactly what they'd done. Yeah, I finally said, I'm going. Want me to come? No, I need to do this alone. November 18th came too quickly. I drove to Colorado Springs alone, my stomach in knots the entire way. I'd prepared what I wanted to say, practiced it in the mirror. But as I pulled into my parents' driveway, seeing Ryan's car already there, all my preparation evaporated. This was it. The confrontation I'd been building toward since September 23rd. Time to make them see what they'd done. Time to make them understand that swimming with the golden child wasn't worth losing their daughter. I rang the doorbell of my childhood home and waited for the reckoning to begin. My mother opened the door with a smile, like I'd been there last week, like nothing had happened. Natalie, you came. She moved to hug me. I stepped back. Where is everyone? Her smile faltered. In the dining room, we're about to eat. I walked past her into the house. Everything looked the same. Same furniture, same photos on the walls, same sense that I didn't quite belong here. The dining room table was set for 5. My father at the head, Ryan to his right, grinning, a woman I didn't recognize next to Ryan, and 2 empty seats across from them. Natalie! Ryan stood up, arms open. I didn't move toward him. Who's this? I asked, gesturing to the woman. This is Jessica, he said proudly. My girlfriend. We met at the apartment complex. Jessica smiled nervously. Nice to meet you. I nodded but didn't return the pleasantry. My mother entered behind me. Let's all sit and eat. I made pot roast. I sat. The empty chair beside me felt symbolic. Eric should have been here, but I needed to do this alone. Dinner began. My father talked about work. My mother fussed over the food. Ryan and Jessica laughed about something at the apartment pool. The pool. Everything came back to that damn pool. So Natalie, my father said, cutting his meat. How's married life? The casual question, like he'd been at the wedding, like he cared. It's good. That's nice, my mother chimed in. We'd love to see pictures sometime. I set down my fork. You could have seen it in person. The table went quiet. What? My mother asked. The wedding. You could have seen it in person, but you were swimming. Ryan shifted uncomfortably. Jessica looked confused. My parents exchanged a glance. Let's not do this now, my father said. When should we do it, Dad? When is the right time to talk about how you missed my wedding? We didn't miss it, my mother said. Something came up. Stop lying, her face flushed. I am not lying. You were at a pool with Ryan. I have the Instagram posts time-stamped during my ceremony. Jessica's eyes widened. Ryan wouldn't look at me. Ryan needed us that day, my mother said, her voice rising. He was stressed about the move. We wanted to help him celebrate his achievement. His achievement? I laughed. A bitter, sharp sound. He signed a lease. That's not an achievement. It was a big step for him, my father interjected. He's finally getting his life together. And that was more important than my wedding? Silence. Damning, horrible silence. Answer me, I demanded. Was Ryan signing a lease more important than walking your daughter down the aisle? My father's jaw tightened. You're being dramatic. I'm being dramatic? I'm being dramatic? I stood up, pulled out my phone, started scrolling. Here, I said, turning the screen to them. September 23rd, 5:47 p.m. Mom at the pool. Caption, so proud of our boy. I scrolled again. Here's another. September 23rd, 6:12 p.m. Dad grilling. Caption, celebrating Ryan's new place. I scrolled once more. And here, September 23rd, 7:03 p.m. Ryan with a beer. Caption, best day ever with the parents. I looked up at them. My ceremony started at 5:08 p.m., 17 minutes before Mom posted that first photo. I walked down the aisle at 5:30 while you were doing cannonballs. My mother's face had gone pale. You thought what? That I wouldn't care? We thought you'd understand, she finished weakly. Understand what? That Ryan needed us more. There it was, the truth. Finally spoken out loud. He's always needed you more, I said quietly. Every time. My whole life. Ryan's needs, Ryan's wants, Ryan's everything. That's not fair, my mother protested. Isn't it? I looked at Ryan. Tell them every time they chose you over me. He squirmed. Nat, my art show in 8th grade. They went to your baseball game. I was the starting pitcher, he mumbled. My college graduation, they left early because you had a hangover. Ryan went red. Jessica was staring at him. My promotion to manager. They couldn't celebrate because you needed help moving your couch. I turned back to my parents. And my wedding, the one day that should have been about me. You chose a pool party. It wasn't like that, my mother said, tears forming. Then what was it like? Explain it to me. She couldn't, because there was no explanation that would make it okay. We made a mistake, my father finally said. His voice was harder than my mother's. Less apologetic, more defensive. A mistake is forgetting to RSVP. A mistake is getting the date wrong. What you did was a choice. We're your parents. You need to respect. Respect? I cut him off. You want to talk to me about respect? I grabbed my bag, started pulling out papers. I brought something, I said. I laid down the first photo. My wedding invitation. The one I'd hand addressed to them. This is what you received in June. Beautiful invitation. All the details. September 23rd at 5:08 p.m. I laid down another paper. This is the text I sent you in July. Did you get the invitation? You said yes. Another paper. This is the text from August. Can you confirm you are coming? You said of course. Another. This is the text from 2 weeks before. Have you booked your hotel? You said you would. Another. This is the call from 3 days before. I asked if you were coming. You said yes. I laid down the final piece. A screenshot from Instagram. My mother at the pool. Time-stamped 5:47 p.m. on September 23rd. This is where you were when I needed you most. The table was covered in evidence. Undeniable proof of their choice. My mother started, then stopped. There was nothing to say. We're sorry, she finally whispered. Are you? Are you really sorry? Yes. Then why didn't you apologize when you first saw me tonight? She had no answer, because she hadn't been sorry, not until I'd forced her to confront it. Ryan needed us, my father tried again. He's younger. He needs more support. I needed you, I shouted, my voice cracked. I needed you. At my wedding, The most important day of my life, and you chose him. Tears were streaming down my face now. Do you know what it felt like? Standing at that altar with two empty chairs in the front row. Everyone asking where my parents were. Eric's mom walking me down the aisle because my own father was too busy grilling hot dogs. Having to explain to 70 guests that my parents chose a pool party over my wedding. I wiped my face angrily. Do you have any idea how humiliating that was? My mother was crying now too. We're sorry, she said again. We made a terrible mistake. It wasn't a mistake, I said coldly. It was a choice. You chose Ryan, like you always have. I looked at my brother. He was staring at his plate, shame written all over his face. Ryan, look at me. He didn't. Look at me. Slowly he raised his eyes. Did you know? I asked. Did you know it was my wedding day when you asked them to come over? He hesitated, then nodded. You knew. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. You didn't think my wedding was a big deal. I mean, you were sure you're getting married anyway. I just thought. You thought what? That I wouldn't care if my parents missed it? I don't know, he said miserably. I wasn't thinking about you. At least that was honest. You never think about me, I said. None of you do. I gathered my papers, put them back in my bag. I came here tonight because I wanted to give you a chance to apologize, to acknowledge what you did, to show some accountability. But even now, even after everything, you still don't get it. I looked at each of them. You'll never get it. Natalie, please, my mother begged, don't leave like this. Like what? Hurt? Angry? What did you expect? Stay. Let's talk about this. We can fix this. I shook my head. No, you can't. Of course we can. You're our daughter. Then act like it, I said. For once in my life, act like I matter to you. I headed for the door. My mother followed. What do you want from us? I stopped, turned around. I want you to realize what you lost when you chose that pool over my wedding. You didn't just miss a ceremony, you missed everything. You missed me walking down the aisle, you missed my vows, you missed the first dance, the cake cutting, the toasts. You missed Eric's father giving a speech about how proud he was to welcome me into their family. You missed his mother telling me I looked beautiful. You missed all the moments you should have been there for. And worst of all, I felt tears coming again. You missed the chance to show me that I finally mattered, that I was finally enough, that my happiness was finally worth your time. My mother was sobbing now. I'm so sorry. I know you are now, damn. I opened the door, but that doesn't change what you did. So what happens now? My father asked. His voice was hard. Now, I'm done begging for scraps of your attention. I'm done competing with Ryan for basic respect. I'm done hoping you'll choose me for once. You're cutting us off? He asked. I'm protecting myself. That's dramatic. No, Dad, missing my wedding for a pool party was dramatic. I'm just responding appropriately. I walked out, got in my car, and drove away from my childhood home. For the last time. 3 weeks after the dinner, my mother sent an email, a real apology, not defensive, not making excuses, just genuinely sorry. I've had time to think about what you said, she wrote. You were right. We chose Ryan over you, not just at the wedding, but your whole life. I don't know when it started or why we let it continue, but I see it now and I'm ashamed. Your father and I want to make this right, if you'll let us. I showed Eric to. What do you think? What do you think? He countered. I thought about it for days. The anger was still there. The hurt was still there. But so was something else, a tiny hope, that maybe finally they understood. I responded, I appreciate the apology, but I need time, and I need to see that you've actually changed, not just that you're saying the right words. I understand, she replied. Take all the time you need. 6 months passed. Eric and I settled into married life. His family continued to embrace me. Sunday dinners, holiday celebrations, unconditional love and support. Everything my own family had never given me. In April, my mother asked if we could meet for coffee. Just the two of us. I agreed. She looked older, tired. "Thank you for meeting me," she said. "I wasn't sure you would." We talked for 2 hours. She didn't make excuses, didn't try to minimize what happened, just listened as I told her how I'd felt my entire life. "I failed you," she said when I finished. "We both did, your father and I. Ryan was easier. He needed more help, more attention, and we gave it to him because you never asked for anything." "That's not fair," I said quietly. "I shouldn't have had to beg for my parents' attention." "You're right, you shouldn't have." She reached across the table. I didn't pull away. "I can't undo missing your wedding. I can't undo all the times we chose Ryan over you. But I want to do better. If you'll give me the chance." I looked at my mother, really looked at her. She meant it. I could see it in her eyes. "This doesn't fix everything," I said. "I know, Dad. It's going to take time. A lot of time. I know. And I need you to understand something." She nodded. "Eric's family is my family now. They showed up when you didn't. They'll always come first." Her face fell slightly, but she nodded. "I understand. And they should come first. They earned it." That was the beginning, not of fixing everything, but of building something new, something better. My father took longer, 6 more months before he could admit his part, before he could say the words, "I'm sorry." But he did, eventually, and slowly, carefully, we rebuilt. Ryan apologized too, at his own wedding a year later, a wedding my parents almost missed because I had a work event the same weekend. "Now you know how it feels," I told them when they called, panicked about the conflict. They rearranged their plans. They chose Ryan's wedding, as they should have. But they also made sure to come to my work event the following weekend, to show they cared about my achievements too. Small steps. 2 years after my wedding, Eric and I renewed our vows. Small ceremony, just family, both families. This time my parents were there, front row. My father walked me to Eric. My mother cried happy tears. It wasn't the same as them being at the original wedding. It never would be. But it was something. After the ceremony, my mother hugged me tight. "Thank you for giving us another chance. Thank you for showing up." And she had, finally, after years of choosing my brother, after missing the most important day of my life, after losing me completely. They'd finally learned, the hard way, that I was worth showing up for. Ryan pulled me aside later. "I'm really sorry about your wedding," and he said, "I know it's late, but I need you to know I get it now, what I took from you." "What made you understand?" He glanced at Jessica, his wife now. "When we were planning our wedding, she asked me what I'd do if her parents couldn't come, and I realized I'd be devastated. And that's when I understood what I did to you." I nodded. "I appreciate you saying that. I was a selfish ass." "Yeah, you were. I'm trying to be better." "I can see that." He hugged me, a real hug, not the obligatory sibling hug from before. "I'm proud of you, Nat, for standing up to them, for making them see what they'd done. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but you did it anyway." That night, Eric and I looked at our wedding photos, the original ones, with the empty chairs. "Do you wish they'd been there?" he asked. "Every day," I admitted. "But you know what? Their absence taught me something." "What's that?" "That family isn't about who's supposed to be there, it's about who actually shows up. Your family showed up. Your parents, your siblings, your cousins, they celebrated with us. They loved us. And when my family finally came around, they had to earn their place." Eric kissed my forehead. "I'm proud of you." "For what?" "For not letting them break you. For demanding the respect you deserve." I looked at the photo one more time. Those empty chairs, they used to represent abandonment. Now they represented strength. The strength it took to say enough. The strength it took to walk away. The strength it took to rebuild on my own terms. My parents missed my wedding, but I didn't miss a moment of my life because of it. I moved forward. I built a family that chose me. And eventually my parents learned what it cost them. Not through my begging or pleading, but through my absence. Through losing me. Through realizing too late what they'd thrown away for a pool party. They chose swimming with Ryan over my wedding. but I chose myself. And that made all the difference. If this story hit close to home, hit that like button right now. Because stories about choosing yourself need to be heard. Subscribe if you haven't already. We share real stories about family dynamics, boundaries, and finding your worth when others won't see it. Drop a comment below. Have your parents ever chosen a sibling over you? How did you handle it? What gave you the strength to set boundaries? Your story matters. Someone in the comments needs to hear it. Share this video with someone who needs permission to put themselves first. Someone who's been the forgotten child for too long. Someone who needs to know it's okay to demand better. Remember this, you don't have to accept being second choice. You don't have to forgive people who won't acknowledge what they've done. And you don't have to keep showing up for people who won't show up for you. Family is who shows up, not who's supposed to. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.